Hey guys, it's Isaac. I want to share something with you that I feel not enough coaches actually are transparent about. And this is something around if you see an incredible 3 to 4 month physical transformation, or someone has completely changed their physique within 3 to 4 months, what you are not seeing is someone's ability to actually sustain that result. That is not visible to you. And the reason I'm telling you this is because I have felt it as well, in that what you see on social media, what you see on Facebook and Instagram, someone achieving this incredible fat loss or muscle gain or dramatic result within their body, what you're not seeing is what happens after that. Now, it takes the brain twice as long to catch up with physical change. Okay, it takes the brain twice as long to catch up with physical change. Now, the reason I'm saying that is because if you're seeing a dramatic physical transformation over 3 to 4 months, in order for someone to really solidify what they've done and learn how to maintain that afterwards within their life, they need to give themselves double the amount of time added on to that. So let's take 4 months. Someone loses, I've had so many clients who've lost 10 kilos, 15 kilos over a 4-month period. That is absolutely possible with the right training, with the right nutrition, with the right lifestyle management and stress management techniques. That is more than possible. It's happened so many times, okay? But if that individual, and I've had clients who've stopped there, because ultimately it's a client's choice as to how long they want to work with myself. I've had clients stop there, and then I've seen them and spoken and caught up with them, a few months down the line, and they've gone near enough back to square one. And it's such a shame. And I'm not blaming the client, because we all have to go through, there's lots of sheep here. Oh, look, there's lambs. Check this out. Hello, lammies. How cute. Anyway, I'll continue the video. And it's not the client's fault. I've made it clear, but people are people. We all need to make our own decisions. So it happens, okay? And I don't want to make them feel bad about it. It happens. I've done it. I've thought I've had everything sussed. I've stopped something, and then I've realised I don't have it sussed, okay? If someone achieves, say, loses 10 kilos, 15 kilos over a 4-month period, they're going to look incredibly different. They're going to probably feel fantastic. They're going to be on a massive high. But if it takes the brain twice as long to catch up with physical change, 4 months times by 2 is 8 months. If you add that on to the 4 months, if you really want to have your shit together, stay in shape for life, you need to be looking at a minimum of 12 months. A minimum of 12 months in order to really sustain that. That is just the reality of it. And I want to tell you this because it's so important to have realistic expectations with your journey. The people I work with don't want to get in shape for a beach holiday. On its own. They don't want to, drop a dress size for just their wedding. They want to feel and have a body that they feel proud of, that allows them to operate with confidence, that allows them to show up at their best in life, in business. I work with a lot of driven people that are potentially business owners or driven in their career, and just want to be the best person they can that positively inspires the people around them. Those are the people who I work with. And if you are one of those people and you want to be in shape consistently year round, you can have different goals at different times and different phases, of course you can. But you don't think, oh sod it, like I'm fine now, I'm just going to stop doing anything. Like, if you want to be consistent with it, stay in shape for life and just feel like you've got your shit together and you're not stressed out day to day, you need to have realistic expectations around what's involved. And that is why I'm telling you this. I have clients who have worked with me for over 2 years and are still making massive breakthroughs that are suddenly, I've had my fiance actually is a client of mine inside Lead from the Front, and I want to share her example actually, because and she won't mind me saying this, I've shared it before on social media and stuff. When she first joined, she was completely overwhelmed by work, completely overwhelmed, and we would chat about it, of course I would, and we would chat late at night. There were often tears. I've just finished my work for the day, she's finished her work, and she was feeling very overwhelmed. And one day she was like, I need to join properly. She's seen all of the coaching calls, she's heard the things that I'm talking about on these coaching calls. She's been sometimes in the other room, and she was like, I need to join properly. What we did, the first phase for her was actually, we didn't even focus on training or anything like that. She was so overwhelmed, she felt that she wanted to train, she wanted to have a social life, but she did not have the time or energy or headspace to do it. She was overwhelmed by work. So the first thing we did, and the only thing we focused on in her first phase, was actually creating headspace. How can she operate more effectively within work so that she isn't overwhelmed, stressed out her nut by the time she finishes? Okay? The way we did that was managing herself effectively. We mapped out actually what were her roles, and the things and tasks that she was doing. She's an operations manager for a bespoke kitchen company, and she has quite a few hats she needs to wear. So we mapped out what were all those roles, how is she currently doing them, what point in the week is she doing. We identified actually she was context switching loads, so that was creating a lot of overwhelm for her brain. We started setting much better expectations and boundaries with both clients and team members so that problems weren't happening all of the time, because she was just putting out fires all of the time. And when she started setting clearer boundaries, clearer expectations, she started communicating better and being less ambiguous with things and trying to people please all of the time. And she recognised that she's the expert, not the clients, so on and so forth. When she recognised that, she started feeling less stressed. And the reason I'm telling you that, I want to tell you the behind the scenes of actually like how I coach and how I work with people. We did not focus directly on any training and stuff at all in that first phase. All we did was focus on her getting less stressed and managing herself more effectively like that. Okay, that is the stuff we talked about for probably a 4 to 6 month period. But what that did was created energy, was created headspace, would stopped her feeling overwhelmed all of the time. And then she had headspace to train. She went from saying, I'm never going to train in a group environment, I don't like it. Now she trains in a group training gym, does group personal training sessions. She's done multiple CrossFit competitions. She's run 2 half marathons. She's gone from doing no pull-ups. She can now bosh out sets of 6 unassisted body weight pull-ups and is happy in her body. And has time for me, obviously I'm her partner, has time for her friends, she has time for socials, she has time for her fitness, and she's been promoted in work, and her work now pay for her to continue working with me on an ongoing basis, and have done for over 2 years. All because of the work we've done together is now making her show up better and operate better at work. But we focused on the right thing, okay? And the reason I'm sharing that's just obviously some behind the scenes of like how I work with people. But she has been in the program for like 2.5 years, okay? She has given herself time to create this level of change. And if you are trying to rush a transformation and you're trying to achieve something as quick as possible, you are not giving yourself time to create the psychological change that is needed to maintain your results. So that just is one example of many. I've worked with over 93 people inside Lead from the Front over the past 3.5 years that I've been running it. This is a very steep hill, that's why I've slowed down a lot, because if I'm talking, I get very out of breath. I've worked with 93 people inside Lead from the Front over the past few years. And that's just one example, one detailed example of how we focused on the right thing that was actually stopping her from being where she wanted to be. But she's given herself time. She's given herself time to implement the stuff. She's achieved an amazing physical transformation, but as well as a mental and psychological transformation. She's given herself the time for that to happen, because the brain takes twice as long to catch up as physical change. So if you are wanting an amazing transformation, you can have one. You can get one over a 3 to 4 month period. It happens. I do it with clients all the time. But if you want to sustain that, you need to double that and add them together. And that is the bare minimum you need to be expecting to sustain that. Why do over half of lottery winners go broke within their first year? Because they don't have the skills, habits, beliefs, strategies to manage that money, because it was just given to them. Same with your result. Obviously you will have had to work for a great physical transformation over or whatever you're trying to transform in. It might be business, it might be stuff like that. It might be just personally how you manage yourself. But you have to allow yourself time. And those lottery winners don't have time. Overnight they get it. They get the result, and more than half of them go broke because they don't know what to do. And it's exactly the same with your physical results. If you're reliant on, like, say, tracking your food, that's a really great example of something that is a fantastic tool. But if you're reliant on tracking your food, and that's the only thing you have, or doing quite intense training programs, there's a time and a place for those things. I use them with clients, but in the right context. If you're not aware of anything else you can do to transition away from that, you are not going to be able to maintain that result, because you can't do that forever. You're not a robot. So hopefully that was useful, guys. Just a bit of real talk around what you're expecting. 3 to 4 months transformations, very, very powerful, achievable. But you need to double that, add them together, and you need to be really giving yourself the minimum of a year to solidify that if you are someone that wants to stay in shape long term. So I hope you found that useful, guys. If you did, if you have a look at the link in the description, I do actually have a free training called How to Get Your Shit Together and Stay in Shape for Life that you are more than welcome to grab. It's at the link in description, or visit www.leadfromthefront.co.uk and you can grab it on there. It's basically the first 3 steps that you need to take in order to start doing the things that I mentioned there around what I do with clients, and Connie, my fiance, that example there. It's completely free. If you want to grab it, you're more than welcome. It's a mini series. It's delivered in 3 parts over the next few days. So it gives you time to implement it, because if you just consume stuff and never do anything, you're not going to get any results. So feel free to grab that. Hope you found that useful. I'll see you soon.